all of our folks represented here today celebrating Labor Day in the state of Michigan. And last I heard, this was still a union town. Is that right? No matter how much they have tried to beat us down, to break us apart, to dismantle public education and health care, we have stood the test of time, and we are still here, folks. And as Randy said a little bit earlier, we are not going back. I'm truly happy to be here and to represent many of you. And so as you know, we see the huge bus from AFT is here. They have chosen to start this bus tour here in the city of Detroit in the state of Michigan. And that is not by happenstance. I don't need to tell the folks in this area how important this election is. There is no pathway for Kamala Harris to win this election and it not come through the state of Michigan. So, folks, we've got some work to do. And not only do we have to make sure that the top of the ticket, that we win at the top of the ticket, we've got to make sure that we win all the rest of the ticket as well. You know, 2 years ago, we didn't think we'd be here to have a trifecta here in the state of Michigan, but we made it. And we made it because of all the hard work from everyone here. All of you had a belief, knocked doors, gave money, and now we celebrate a trifecta here in the state of Michigan. We were able to get many of the things that we lost, all those pro-public education, all of the pro-labor bills, all repealed and returned back to their rightful place to make sure that Michigan remains a labor state. And so we've got to make sure we keep it there because we're not going back. And you're going to hear from many of the folks who are responsible, many of the folks who are fighting hard for us in Lansing, and who happen to be union members as well. So that's how you really build true power, is you identify and you elect your own. You elect people who know and understand how important it is to make sure that when you are on your job, that your wages, benefits, and working conditions are kept intact, and we continue to build power. So give it up for power, folks. All right, let's kick off this program. I'm going to bring up to you first our fearless Secretary-Treasurer at AFT, our band director from the great city of Miami and the state of Florida. Let's give him a warm welcome because he needs it. Fed Ingram, everybody. Detroit. Detroit, 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 Detroit. I heard you got to say something 7 times to make sure that everybody get it. Everybody okay? Yo, it's cold. I know people shaking their head. Terrence got on shorts making me look bad. You know, now I'm from Miami, as south as you get. So that means it's as hot as you get. When I left Miami, it was 99 degrees, okay? You guys ordered up 50-degree weather, but it's good walking weather, right? It's good talking weather, right? It's good voting weather, right? So what we gonna do in Michigan, we gonna win, right? Listen, Terrence already told you, there is no path to victory without you. There is no path to victory without you. Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, they need your help. But guess what? I came with a warning from Florida, okay? We got a great state, but we got an idiot governor. Let me tell you something. Not only that, we got a House and a Senate that's a trifecta the other way. You don't want that. You don't want that, Detroit. You don't want that in Michigan. You want to keep your trifecta. Your local elections matter. Your down ballot matters. Every single person on the ballot, every single person in your community matters. You're voting not only for yourself, but the family across the street, that kid who needs your help, that Asian parent, those prescriptions that are still too high. We need your help to do everything that we can to get out there, because I'm telling you, this warning from Florida is real. We are banning books in Florida. We are censoring all of our educators. We are attacking colleges and universities for DEI. Okay, our healthcare workers are taking it on the chin. And let me tell you something, Michigan, you all are setting the standard. You're doing it right. Everything that you all are doing, we're trying to study in Florida, learn from it, and we are fighting like you. So Michigan, are we gonna do this? Y'all sure? I can't hear you. Are we gonna do this? I came all the way from Miami, so I'm gonna ask you one more time, are we gonna do this? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be here on behalf of AFT, the 1.8 million people that we represent all over this country. I want to give a shout out to my old friend David Hecker back there. David Hecker. I'm giving a shout out to David because we brought him down to Florida for a little sweat, and he helped us out a lot. So we appreciate you, David. I appreciate that. Let's give it up for Terrence Martin and his troop. I see some other leaders, but it's not my job to, I see you, Lakia, but it's not my job. I'm going to turn it back over to Terrence today. Listen, I am here as a pregame show because we brought a star among stars. We brought the lady who leads the nation in labor rights. This weekend was brought to you by the blood, sweat, and tears of labor members before us, of workers before us, of unions before us, and we have the iconic leader who leads the AFT all over this nation. And so, ladies and gentlemen, is she coming up next? Not now. Okay, hold up, Ingram, hold up, Fed. All right, chill out, buddy. Listen, thank y'all very much. I'm going to turn it over to Terrence. We appreciate everything, okay? Peace and power.
All right, let's keep the program going. I mentioned it earlier. This doesn't happen. Our trifecta doesn't happen without the hard-working folks in Lansing. And we're going to bring up one of our own. Carrie Ryan Gantz out of House District 47. Come on up, Carrie.
Good morning, Detroit. I represent part of Ann Arbor in Jackson County, and I'm so proud to be a long-term member of AFT Michigan's Local 6244. I see some folks in the crowd from Leo at University of Michigan. Before that, I was also a GEO member. So why did I run for office? Because I learned organizing with folks that when we work together, we can win our rights, we can protect our working conditions, we can protect our benefits. And that's part of why I wanted to go to Lansing and actually have a vote on that on the floor. And I only got there because of the work of labor all across my district and all across Michigan. And now we've been able to be the first state in decades to repeal the failed right to work law. We've been able to, and that's because of you. That's because you helped us get there. We've been able to restore prevailing wage. We've been able to do a lot of work that you've been asking for years, but you know what? We still have work to do. So we need your help to keep us in the House, having our majority. I know that our budget chair for K-12 budget is here somewhere in the crowd, and hopefully she'll come up in a minute. And she can talk a little bit about some of the budget wins with our biggest school budget ever in the state of Michigan. But we have more work to do. We have more work to do on unemployment. We have more work to do on other labor issues. I've even introduced a bill to allow student athletes to organize, and that isn't getting a hearing anytime soon. So we need your help to help the people of Michigan, the working people of Michigan, be able to be protected. And we are not going back. We're not going back to right to work. We're not going to the back of the bus. We are not going back in the closet. And we are not going back in the kitchen. We are not going back. So thank you so much for being here today. Get your walking shoes ready, because we got only a couple months, and we need you out there doing at least one more thing than what you did in 2020. One more thing than what you did in 2016. So think about it. What is it that you can do? Sign up, get out there, walk, talk, do the work. That's what you do. You know how to do the work. Thank you so much.
We're going to bring up another one of our own, Rep. Regina Weiss, who's a former DFT member. Doing great work in the House.
Good morning, AFT. All right, well, I am so honored to be with you. Good morning, a special good morning to DFT Local 231, my former local. I am so excited to be with you, and I'm excited to share. I know we've already said it, but it bears repeating. With our Democratic trifecta this term, we have been able to deliver historic legislation to restore collective bargaining rights here in the state of Michigan. And I'm proud of two things in particular that I helped spearhead. One was the repeal of right to work. And the other, and honestly, I hate to say this out loud because people are recording, I'm almost more proud of this piece of legislation, which was restoring collective bargaining rights for teachers and school employees here in the state of Michigan. So, we still have a lot of work to do, though. There's still a lot of legislation that needs to be improved. There's still a lot of things that we need to do to improve collective bargaining rights, improve workers' rights here in the state of Michigan. And obviously, there's a lot we need to protect. I'm also very proud to chair our school aid budget for the state and have been able to help deliver historic investments for public education here in the state of Michigan over the past 2 years. There is a lot more that we need to do because you need support. We know that we need to fully fund our schools. We know that we need to equitably fund our schools. We know that we need to respect educators, we need to support our teachers, and we need to make sure that you all have the resources that you need to be successful. And the only way that we can continue on that work is to make sure that we are protecting our Democratic trifecta here in the state of Michigan. So, my ask to you all is this. We have several candidates across the state running in the state house that need support. So come talk to me, come talk to Rep. Reingarten, come talk to anyone else, come talk to Janelle, come talk to Terrence to learn about different ways you can get involved and help support our House members that we need to bring back and new House members that we want to bring on. Because we want to not only protect, we want to expand this majority so that we can do even more. So happy Labor Day to you all. Thank you for being here, and let's go.
Let's win top to bottom, win top to bottom, win top to bottom, win top to bottom. Our relationship with our AFL, our state AFL, is extremely important. And so we have today in front of us is our president from the AFL, state AFL, Ron Bieber.
If I don't trip. Happy Labor Day, AFT family. And it is a happy Labor Day. We have a lot to celebrate here in Michigan. The two representatives talked about all the things. I really want to say thank you. Thank you for all the hard work, all the partnership. I see my dear friend David Hecker and Terrence. They know how hard we had to push and fight. And where's Regina? You don't have to be shy about. One of the greatest things we did was restoring those collective bargaining rights for teachers and school employees. We had to scratch and claw, but we got it back, and we've got a lot more to do. So just like the rep said, we need to work to hold that house. If we lose that house, we're out of business. We will not get another piece of legislation passed. I want to say one thing. I came, Terrence invited me, so of course I came, but I really wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much. AFT has been such a great partner with the rest of the labor movement and the AFL. It's only through our solidarity with each other that we are able to get this stuff done, right? Unity and strength in the power of our numbers. I want to say one thing. This is Labor Day, so there's going to be a lot of hoopla today about the vice president coming. The governor's going to be at our event. My dear friend and brother, Daryl Newman, who's my secretary-treasurer and the Metro CLC president, has done a lot of work for us to have a great march and event afterwards. Take 1 minute. This is our holiday. This is about us. This is the day that we celebrate what we do, and nobody, and excuse me, there's two groups of people that I consider angels walking on earth. One are healthcare professionals. The others are teachers. You are entrusted with educating the future, our children, and now for me, my grandchildren, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You do not get enough accolades and praise for what you do. So but you're going to get it from me today. So from the bottom of my heart, take a second and say, look at each other in the eye and be proud of who you are and what we do. So happy Labor Day. Thanks for having me. We got to work.
All right, another hand for Ron and the AFL. You know, this bus tour is made possible by one of the hardest working labor leaders in this nation. When our schools were under attack in the city of Detroit, Randi Weingarten stepped up, showed and showed out, and was able to save our school district here in the city of Detroit. There is not a local too small, too big for Randi to come and help. We are here to help people, and she has done it all over this country. From leading us out of a global pandemic, for ensuring that our voice, the voice of educators and the voice of AFT members, was heard in the White House. This is a leader who has been named the most dangerous person in the country. And she wears it as a badge of honor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our national president, Randi Weingarten.
So, what better place to be at Labor Day than in Detroit? I'm glad Terrence raised the issue about what happened in the Detroit public schools, because every time I hear a legislator, and I'm so glad we have two of them with us right now today, wave again, yay! It's because I remember, and Terrence remembers it too, and the people who were teaching in Detroit at that moment remember it too. How dare you take away what kids need to become critical thinkers, relationship builders, the curators of the environment, the stewards of our economy, the promoters of democracy. How dare you take away the way for them to do it? And I often think, when I come into Detroit, I think, Lakia, of the school that you taught in, Spain, not the new Spain, but the old Spain, where you had, you know, a music room that had just been rained on, so none of the music instruments could operate, where you had a gym that was buckling. And when I hear these legislative leaders, and when I hear Terrence, and I hear Ron, and I heard David beforehand, and Eric is here, and so many other leaders are here, this rage, this righteous anger that we should keep having because of what the promoters of power did to undermine the rights of people, particularly children. That is what stays with me every single day of my life. How dare they undermine kids? How dare they try to divide parents and teachers? Look, we got a lot of issues in the country, including what's going on in Israel and Gaza. We got a lot of issues, including what's happening here in this country. But what we stand for is having a voice to have those fights, having a voice to make life better, having a voice, as this bus says, to make progress, having a voice for economic opportunity, for educational opportunity, for gaining freedom, not losing our freedoms. That is what I think of when I am in Detroit. That's the cradle of the labor movement. That's what the UAW did with its sit-down strike and then its stand-up strike. That's what Detroit did with that day saying, I'm not doing this anymore. That's what Flint did. That's what we do when we organize and we create density and we recreate a middle class which we need in this country. So to me, that's what Labor Day is about. It's about the struggling. It's about the striving. It's about making progress. But progress is possible, not guaranteed. As anyone who came to the AFT convention knows, I keep on using this song from SUFs, from the suffragists. And it's not guaranteed. We've seen it. And we know the difference when we have people in the legislature. We keep talking about a trifecta in Detroit, or I'm sorry, in Lansing. We know what it means when you have the difference of somebody who is fighting for collective bargaining, fighting for pensions, fighting for money for schools, and all the things we had to do just to stop them from doing evil things. We know the difference. You all know the difference. So just imagine this. The country, you know this too. The country is deeply divided. I think most people want to turn the page and see a future of possibility, and a future of freedom, and a future of opportunity. It's not easy. It's not Disneyland. There's not going to be like magic fairy dust if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz get elected and all of a sudden all our problems will be gone. But what will happen, just like what did happen with Joe Biden, is that there are people in the White House who understand that working people are their priority, that families are their priority, that education opportunity without terrible debt is their priority, that having health care so that you are not one illness away from medical debt being a disaster or from bankruptcy, that is our priority, that retiring with dignity and is our priority. All I'm saying is that the normal, somebody wants that. All I'm saying is that on this Labor Day, the stuff that we take as gospel, the stuff, the values that we fight for every day, they're American values. Kids going to school and having what they need to succeed. Workers having a living wage. Nurses not being plowed under by having unsafe staffing. Doctors being able to do their work without having to be up 24/7, literally. Higher ed professionals not worrying about whether or not they will have another paycheck because they are adjunctified. All of the things that we are trying to fight for, a living wage, decent health care, decent child care, decent, affordable, everything, housing, a decent retirement. These are American values. And the people who are against us, whether it's the people in the state who are running for state legislature, whether it's the people who are running against Alyssa Slotkin, whether it's the people like Trump and that guy who is obsessed with birthing, Vance. God only knows why he's so obsessed with birthing. Think about, sorry, you knew I had to go there. Just think about what they believe in. Project 2025. Eliminate not only the Department of Education, but Title I and IDEA and all the federal funds that we actually get to try to create a ladder of opportunity. Getting rid of student debt help, getting rid of help to go to college, cutting Social Security and Medicare, saying that, teachers and librarians could go to jail if they deem what they're teaching pornographic. Getting rid of more of our rights, undermining unions. We've been through this play before. You, Michigan, you've been through this before. So it's kind of obvious to me, but it's not obvious, and I'm sure it's obvious to all of you who are standing right here as we're about to march. But it's not obvious to all of our neighbors. And so I'm going to end by asking you this. Labor Day, you're here. You know what Labor Day means. You wouldn't be here today if you didn't know what Labor Day means. You know that progress is possible. You have fought this fight to change Michigan in a way that would have been unrecognizable 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You've done that. You've done that. Yes, you should clap for yourselves. You've done that. But the biggest fight is between now and Election Day. Because the people who oppose us understand that if we win, not when we win, Terrence is right, if we win, and winning goes right through Michigan, if we win, that means we strengthen democracy. That means we strengthen our freedoms. That means the middle class can be ascended. That means we strengthen education, we strengthen the economy, we strengthen our rights. And there are a whole lot of people who don't want that. So they will divide, distract, do everything they can to pull down Kamala Harris, to pull down Tim Walz, to pull down your governor, to pull down Alyssa Slotkin, to pull down these representatives. They will distract, they will divert, they will lie. And in this election, what really matters, use your teacher voice, use your nurse voice, talk to people, you relate to people, you connect to people. If you believe that progress is possible, are you going to go out and vote? If you believe that progress is possible, are you going to get out the vote? Are you going to knock on doors? Are you going to make phone calls? Are we going to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and Alyssa Slotkin? Thank you.
All right, folks, give it up for Randi. I wanted to take a moment to recognize all of our leaders at our advisory board at AFT Michigan. Our advisory board leaders, raise your hand. All right. All of our leaders who help to set policy and represent their constituency groups and locals do a fantastic job. We also have our community partners who are here with us from 482 Forward and the Michigan Education Justice Coalition. And all of our retirees. If you're a retiree from any of our locals, please stand, raise your hand and be recognized. Our newest retiree, David Hecker, our newest retiree, all right. Folks, are we going back? No. Are we going back? No. All right, are you ready to walk? Yes. So we are going to head straight out this direction and join our friends at the MEA, and we'll all walk together as labor, as educators, as healthcare workers, along with our folks. So thank you all for coming this morning. Give yourselves a hand. And we've got to win up and down the ballot, up and down the ballot. And so we'll look forward to seeing you out on our labor walks to get our folks elected and keep our house and make sure that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are running this country. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here on labor.